you. Talks about life. Scene Dawn. Take 3A.
So there were a total of 3 Super Bowl commercials that you did with Budweiser.
Yeah.
What kind of doors does that open for you?
Well, the great thing is that at this point, I love commercials. I love doing stunts in commercials, and it opened a lot of doors commercially. Now, basically every commercial casting shop in town, I walk in and it's nice being like sort of recognized, and so they know that I'm not, I'm at this point I've earned my stripes, and so I get a fair shake on my auditions, and it's really cool.
Yeah. So moving to the Glass Menagerie.
Yeah.
Was that your first time doing a play since you had kind of started getting into acting?
Oh man, no, because I did a lot of plays in New York, and then when I first got here, just down the street, I did One Night Stand. I don't know if maybe it was at the end here, the Magnolia Theater, and it was a play about a series of one night stands. And it was a comedy. It was pretty funny. But after that, I was like, okay, no more theater for a while. Done enough theater. And I love theater. I love the consistency and having that direct feedback from the audience. But I knew at that point I needed to work on my on camera, which is what I did.
And how did you get involved in the Glass Menagerie?
Jim, Katarina's husband, was with me at an audition. That funny story about the audition that we met at, I think it was a callback, is it was for a cowboy. It was for a funny cowboy. But they said just like, be a cowboy. And I was like, okay. And so I did the callback. And then my friend who does voiceovers, I went to Detroit with him to go see one of his conventions that he does. So I'm in Detroit, and it's my birthday, and we're having a ball at this convention, and then I get the call, you got a call back for this horse thing, this cowboy thing. I'm like, oh crap. So I book a flight because, the gamble is $30,000 versus $500.
Yeah.
So I book a flight and I come back, and I'm sitting there with Jim, and me and him are like in our traditional cowboy garb, and all of a sudden like all these like character-esque cowboys come walking in. And I'm like, what's going on? And it turns out that it was like the whole premise was that there were supposed to be caricatures of cowboys and not actually real cowboys. And we started talking about that. It was kind of funny. But we became friends, and we were friends on Facebook. And then when Katarina started thinking about doing the Glass Menagerie, he said, I have a guy who might be really good for that role. And
Nice.
then they let me audition.
So you did audition.
I did audition.
You went
for
through that process. And, yeah. And how was working on that play kind of compared to other theater that you had done, being that it's Tennessee Williams?
Yeah.
I really hope that's
Yeah,
right,
it is
because otherwise
Tennessee
I'm going to
Williams.
feel really dumb.
Yeah, no, it's
Williams.
Tennessee Williams.
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't done a lot of traditional plays or period pieces really ever. And it was neat to explore a kind of stylized acting in that sense. I find that there's, the difference between original works, which I had done so much of, and a period piece. The one major difference I found was you're going to spend quite a bit of money on costuming and props because they don't exist readily in the world. So you got to go find those things. And two, it's the way that they talked, and the Tennessee Williams, how he writes is kind of like poetry in itself. He spent a lot of time doing poetry, and the way he talks is very stylized for that era. And so getting those words to come out naturally was a really big challenge for me. And but once I did, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone wanting to get into the entertainment industry, like considering moving out here and trying their hand at LA?
Oh, man.
Or New York, I guess. 'Cause you've been to both.
I would say number one, make sure you love it. If you make sure definitely that you love it. If you didn't have to do anything, if you had $1 million and you didn't ever have to do anything, would you still act? Also, if you knew that you weren't going to ever make it or be famous, if you knew that you would never, no one would probably ever see you except for the audience that came into a theater, would you still do it? And if the answer is to no to that question, I beg them to seriously consider another career, because there is no gamble. And also be prepared to work in the food and service industry for quite a long time before you make it. While I was in college getting my business degree, my final year, which this was kind of insane, I just kept reading biographies of actors. That's all I would read. And if you do the math, a lot of these guys, it sounds like they came out of nowhere and they just started working, but it's an average of like 10 years to get a career together and really start making something of yourself. And so if you're prepared to spend that 10 years in obscurity and just working on your craft, then do it. And also stay in class. Just stay in class. I think everybody can be taught to act, but you have to be in a room with someone who you're paying to tell you how to act, not just out there in the world acting, who you're paying to get advice from. You have to stay in that room and stay working on your craft. And if you're prepared to do all those things, then give it a great shot. But just really weigh those options.
Yeah. Who are some other directors that you'd love to work with? You've already worked with Michael Bay.
God. Man, I just want to work with Michael Bay. I just want
Just over and over.
want things to blow up, dude. I want to be in there. I want to be shooting guns. Let's do this.
Blowing stuff up.
Blowing stuff up, man.
Being American.
That's it.
I saw 13 Hours.
Yeah? How
Twice.
was it?
Amazing.
Did you see it twice?
Twice, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw it once on my own, and then I went with my former roommate. We saw it last night, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, just very fun, very Michael Bay. The end sequence is just
It's
shot after shot of just epicness. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, besides Michael Bay, I think maybe Clint Eastwood, because American Sniper, he just makes you look really like rugged and cool, and that's, I would like to do that stuff. That would be really neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's on you, Internet. I like to do. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Internet, make that happen for me.
Make that happen, Internet.
Don't be selfish.